I'm going to do this ad in front of you. You're going to do this ad in front of me. You can't run from it.
Puts the lotion in the basket. Oh my god.
Buffalo Bill.
Buffalo
Phil. Buffalo Phil Seymour Hoffman. Hello, Lord Michaels. Here's my audition for SNL.
Buffalo Phil Seymour.
It puts the lotion in the basket or I'll fuck you so bad. Oh my god.
Welcome to the Dr. DC podcast. My name is Colin, and next to me is the doctor himself.
Hello.
And as always, you're joined by our producer, Richard.
You like that one, eh? On behalf of Richard. Ahoy, hoy.
Each week, we talk about the weird and wonderful world of DC while fielding questions from listeners like you.
Oh, fuck.
Well, I want to be the very best, like no one ever was.
Yeah.
To catch them is my real task. To train them is my cause.
That's right. Trading cards.
Chimpokoma.
Now on to this week's theme, trading cards.
2.
Episode 2.
The Reckoning.
That's right. The retrading.
Yeah, the trading.
No givesy backsies.
Yes, I mean the last time we did a trading cards episode, basically Colin went through my collection of DC trading cards, picked 10 random characters, and we just
the doctor went through my
Jesus
trading cards, picked 10 random ones.
Yeah, I learned about Roger Clemens. And, and then
his quote unquote drinking problem.
Yeah, it's weird that you had the ailment and alcoholism trading card set.
You know, it's like every 7-year-old boy has them.
I also saw that Rainbow Brite card in there too. That was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Which one's
that? That was in his adult collection.
Yeah. Oh no.
Clearly lost.
It's My Little Pony.
So basically,
why would I have?
No, is Rainbow Brite's not My Little Pony? I thought Rainbow Brite isn't that princess with rainbow hair?
Okay, bigger question. Why do either of you know what this is? It sounds like it's for little girls.
This is important.
Shut up. Nothing's more important than this right now.
Precious content.
Rainbow Brite.
So while these idiots are looking up cartoons for little girls,
oh no, yeah, you're totally right.
I just want to point out that
Rainbow Dash is a My Little Pony.
I apologize.
I mean, I don't know.
We have really great sponsors here at the podcast, and a really okay producer. The host of the show is pretty nice too. I guess.
Thank you. So at any rate, this time around, Colin has picked another 10.
Dr. Pony, shut your mouth.
We're going to go through and, I'm going to talk a little bit about these characters. Some of them are ones that have come up in conversation before, but we maybe haven't spent actual time on. And other ones I think are pretty strange. Like Colin, I think you picked a couple of weird ones this time at least.
I always do.
All right.
So we're going to start with Animal Man.
Animal Man.
Oh.
He's an animal.
Animal Man.
At the same time, they're in a band.
That wasn't me, though, that time.
That was just the song.
That was Colin that hit that.
I was adding to my song.
So, Animal Man. God. His real name is Buddy Baker. He's like an actor, like a Hollywood
Is
actor.
he like an actor, or is he an actor?
He's... God damn it. Who's the dad?
Who's on first?
Who's the boss?
Tony Danza.
That's right.
But I'm...
Answered all the questions.
Yeah. So, Buddy Baker, he's a Hollywood actor. In his original appearance in Strange Adventures number 185, the number might be wrong, but somewhere in there, he encounters like a crashed alien ship, and he's exposed to some like energy and radiation. He gets the power to basically channel the powers of the animal world. And so... But he doesn't become Animal Man and like put on a costume and call himself that for like another couple of appearances. He's just like the story is just called like the man with the animal powers or something like that. But eventually, he does go by Animal Man. He becomes a superhero, and he can sort of communicate, but also just channel the power of what's called the morphogenetic field.
Did him and Aquaman hang out and just talk to their respective
animals?
Well, but Animal Man can also talk to sea life.
Oh, God.
cool. So he's way cooler than Aquaman.
Yeah,
And
seriously.
he can talk to alien life. It's anything that's connected to
Damn.
what's called the morphogenetic field, or like the life web, basically.
Peace out, Aquaman.
Whoa. Seriously.
Now, later on, his origin was retconned a little bit. And the idea was that he actually gets his powers from something called the red. So the green is where Swamp Thing gets his powers, which is the connected consciousness of all plant life. The red, otherwise known as the morphogenetic field, is the collective consciousness of all animal life.
All things that are meat.
And yeah, basically. And instead of reporting to the Parliament of Trees, which is in the green, he reports to the Parliament of Limbs, which is in the red.
It's in a chicken coop.
But the way that it was
Lincoln,
retconned was that they basically felt that he couldn't handle the full truth and scope of this, like,
You can't handle the truth.
of this other realm, and that so they like fabricated the memory of the aliens crashing, because they were like, he'll stomach that explanation way more easily than this other realm. So Animal Man is now tied into like one of those Earth realms, and actually he's just like the substitute avatar of the red, because his daughter Maxine is like the actual.
You're not my
like,
real red.
She's the actual like destined
Fuck you, Rick.
avatar of the red. But because she's just a kid, Buddy Baker has taken on that mantle, and basically he's there to protect her until she's ready to become the full avatar of the red. So,
He's just redding it up for her.
yeah. I mean, like I'm going relatively quickly through it, but that's Buddy Baker. He was for a long time kind of like a side character, and then Grant Morrison wrote a very iconic Animal Man series.
Wait, hold on. He's going to be his kid's sidekick?
No, he's his kid's protector
Oh, that's
until his kid is old enough to become the
That's
avatar,
just a
and
regular parent, though.
and then presumably he'll lose the power entirely because it'll be given to his daughter.
I like the idea of him being a sidekick to his kid.
I don't want to get too far.
Of course,
on
Morrison
this.
would drop the ball on that one. That's like an obvious one.
I don't want to get too far on this tangent, but there is, as far as I know, maybe only one good example of an adult sidekick to a child hero.
Say it.
So there was a child hero called the Star-Spangled Kid, and his sidekick was like his uncle or his stepdad or whatever, and his name was Pat Dugan. He was S.T.R.I.P.E. And then the Star-Spangled Kid later passed his mantle on to Courtney Whitmore, Stargirl. And then she also got the mantle of Jack Knight, Starman. So she actually inherited both of those. And then, and S.T.R.I.P.E., Pat Dugan, was like her sidekick as well.
Was the Star-Spangled Kid, was his name Tanner?
I forget what his name was actually, but it wasn't Tanner, I don't think.
Star-Spangled Tanner.
Yeah, I should have known.
Nice.
Was his name Bruce?
Because
Bruce
Banner.
oh. That's what happens when I'm sick. Like I don't even see these jokes coming.
Right, yeah, when you're sick.
Thanks.
We're going to move along to Black Lightning.
Black
Well,
Lightning.
first, what I want to know is what made you choose Animal Man?
I chose Animal Man because he just looks like a really chill dude, just hanging out with like a bunch of like really massive animals. Like, look at that guy.
I want to see this.
Just hanging out. He's like super chill.
While you're looking at that, what I was in the middle of saying was that Grant Morrison did this very iconic Animal Man run that sort of brought the character more into the consciousness of like just comic book readers, but it also was very like meta. Like at one point, Animal Man meets Grant Morrison in the comic book.
He's
and
really
then,
hung up on himself, eh?
And then Jeff Lemire, who Richard loves,
Hell yeah.
because you guys are from the same small town.
Goddamn right we are.
Jeff Lemire wrote the like amazing New 52 Animal Man series, which is like start to finish, just like groundbreaking. It's really incredible.
Does he meet Jeff Lemire at all in that?
No.
Oh yeah, that's because he's just doing his fucking job.
Jesus.
I really like this card.
Right? Isn't it great?
It's great. He's just like chilling,
His,
like in
arms
like a
are
trench
crossed.
coat, like surrounded around like
There's like an
what looks like a
elephant.
tiger and like a boar maybe, and like a deer possibly, like a monkey that like has what looks like a gigantic back. It doesn't seem like it's
Like
accurate.
a gorilla, maybe?
No, like a monkey with a huge body.
He's got a monkey on his back?
At one point,
He
very
does.
briefly, the red grants Buddy Baker the ability to also like not full transform into an animal, but like slightly, so he could like get like gorilla arms and like smash stuff up, or he could like
Nice.
grow wings and fly.
Be a bird.
They briefly give him that kind of ability, which is also pretty cool.
More Canadian music.
Yeah, yeah, that's Animal Man.
Baby, I can.
All right, we're gonna edit that part out for sure. So now on to Black Lightning.
All right.
Black Lightning.
We've actually spent quite a bit of time talking about Black Lightning in the last little while because of the...
Well, potentially whenever this episode comes out.
Well, but that still counts. The last few months when the show has been on.
Last year when we talked about it.
It's not, we're not recording that far in advance. Brenda wouldn't like that if that's
No.
like, we're planning that far in advance.
Who's that? Sorry.
Don't worry about it. So Black Lightning, Jefferson Pierce. He was like an Olympic decathlete and turned like school teacher. And he fights crime in an area of, or originally in an area of Metropolis called Suicide Slum. Now in the comics, it's in Cleveland. In the TV show, they make it its own city called Freeland. But wherever it is, it's always in like kind of like a slummy kind of gang lord type city type environment. And Jefferson Pierce, in addition to being an Olympic level athlete and a very smart kind of caring educator, has the ability to generate electricity and electrical fields. So he uses that in a few different ways. He can make force fields, for example, and stop bullets or deflect like bullets. He can just obviously shoot lightning. He can use it to change like the polarity of things so that he can hover or fly. He's a really interesting hero. Black Lightning
really
is
nice guy.
He is. Black Lightning is
Very
also
much so.
the first black superhero in DC Comics to headline their own comic. Like, John Stewart Green Lantern existed before Black Lightning did, but there wasn't a John Stewart Green Lantern comic book.
No.
Black Lightning had an 11-issue or 12-issue original series, and that was the first time that had happened in DC. And actually,
we've treaded this water before, and I can't
someone
remember.
should double check what, but I think it might be the first in general. It might predate a solo Black Panther series, but I don't want to get too misquoted.
You know what they say? Which came first, the lightning or the panther?
That old adage.
Classic.
But Jefferson Pierce has been a member of multiple versions of the Justice League. He was a member of the Outsiders, which was Batman's like other team of heroes when he left the Justice League.
Was he Soda Pop?
What?
Outsiders.
What?
The Outsiders, the book.
Oh. That's a throwback. Colin, we know you're the literature guy. Stop rubbing it.
Clearly a throwaway.
Yeah, so he was in the Justice League for a bit. He was also in the Outsiders. That was the team with like Katana, Metamorpho, Geoforce, Halo, and Batman. He's always been I wouldn't say necessarily a central DC Comics character, but definitely like way up there in that sort of like second tier. He's not the first ones you think of, like Superman, Batman, Hal Jordan, things like that, but he's in that sort of second sphere of heroes. Both of his daughters eventually develop powers, and they become the heroes Thunder and Lightning. So he's also a bit of a legacy hero in his own right too. Because of this TV show, I think he's had like more resurgence. There was a new comic series that came out around the same time called Cold Dead Hands, which has been pretty good. And Black Lightning was instrumental during the events of Final Crisis, and he also played a decent sized role in Infinite Crisis. So he's like a main powerful DC superhero.
Super.
Yeah. He's the one, I think I've said it before, where there's an interaction with him and Mr. Terrific, the two black superheroes, and he's basically asked why he has the word black in his name. And he says, when I started, there weren't very many of us out there doing it. So I wanted people to know who was saving the day. I wanted them to know it was a black man. So it was like the reason that he took the name Black Lightning as opposed to just Lightning or Thunderman or whatever, whatever you could call yourself as an electricity superhero.
Thunderman.
Yeah.
So the next one we're going to go with is Guy Gardner.
Oh, my favorite Green Lantern.
Wow, I don't know if you could sense that sarcasm in your voice.
I really dislike Guy Gardner, but I don't think I've ever given a bit of a history on him before. So here we go.
Did you talk to him on the Green Lantern podcast at all? Did you talk about him?
About Guy Gardner?
Your distaste?
We did on our episode. I don't remember if I threw down about Guy Gardner when I was on the Lantern cast or not. I was in a bit of a fugue state, so I might have. So Guy Gardner is a different Earth Green Lantern. People who maybe just casually read comics and aren't sure who he is, he's the guy in the big green boots with the weird double-breasted vest and the red-haired bowl cut. He looks absolutely...
He just looks like a total
fucking ridiculous.
On that card, he looks like no one's friend.
Why does he have to stand like that even in the photo? Like,
he's a gardener of guys.
Is that a yo-yo?
He's just he's a douchebag.
No, it's called a throw.
Okay, I don't think it's a yo-yo, but it does look like he's using a yo-yo.
Oh yeah, it does. Yeah, in that image.
But also his stance makes it look like he would use a yo-yo.
I'm going to give a little bit of context that's going to sound like I shouldn't hate this character because his story is a little bit tragic, but basically he had sort of abusive father and things like that, but he always looked up to his older brother who was a cop and that sort of thing, and his brother took him aside and said, you have to get your life on track, blah, 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 blah. And Guy does, and he goes to university and he gets a psych degree or something like that. He starts being, I think, a social worker, basically. And then he learns later that his brother was a dirty cop because drug dealers kill him and this whole thing comes out. And it sort of breaks his worldview a little bit. But then here's the thing. Guy Gardner, it could have been the Green Lantern. This was retconned in later, obviously. When Abin Sur crashed on Earth and he told his ring to find the next worthy, Green Lantern, it basically picked Guy Gardner and Hal Jordan, but Hal was closer. So Hal kind of just by luck of the draw became Green Lantern. But then Guy Gardner was sort of just logged away as you'll be the backup. If anything ever happens to Hal, you'll become the Green Lantern of Sector 2814. Through very convoluted story things that have sometimes included Coma, sometimes included Phantom Zone, etc., etc., Guy Gardner was taken out of action while Hal was still around. So then they named a new backup, which became John Stewart as Green Lantern. So Guy is technically the second Earth, or I shouldn't even say the second Earth, but of those space cop ones, the second Earth Green Lantern. But John Stewart is sort of better known because he was more popular and more around, and Guy became sort of third tier, third string. But Guy Gardner is this very rough and tumble, brash, tells you what he thinks, because, fuck you, basically, kind of guy, given the power of a Green Lantern ring, which seems really irresponsible. But he does pull through in the end. He does have, his heart is in the right place, even though he's an asshole. He was famously one-punched by Batman, which is a great moment in comics.
And right in the face.
Yeah. And then Guy Gardner also...
did you get one punched?
You got one punched? Well, I don't know. You could get one punched in the dick.
I guess you could.
Yeah, it would take me out. But he was wearing Sinestro's ring at the time, wasn't he?
Batman?
No. When Guy was wearing...
No,
when he was wearing Sinestro's yellow ring.
No, because it's something slightly different because it's pre-Sinestro core. But basically, Eventually, he's sent undercover by Hal Jordan into the Red Lanterns because Guy is this guy who's full of rage. It would make sense for him to be a Red Lantern. He's sort of sent in undercover, and Guy becomes the leader of the Red Lantern Corps for a while. So he's been sort of all across the universe with various Lantern Corps saving the day and trying to do right. He was a member of the Justice League International, which was the team with Booster Gold and Blue Beetle, and he was
great in the Green Lantern Corps, like in the comic, like the actual dedicated
a lot
series.
of people like Guy Gardner. I don't. It sort of seems to be foolproof no matter what anyone writes for him. I don't like him. I think the most interested in Guy I've ever been was when he was a Red Lantern.
It's just that
And that was
shitty
about
haircut. Oh my god.
It doesn't help.
Super annoying.
And then when
too.
he didn't have a shitty haircut, they gave him like a fucking handlebar mustache.
Oh, that's right.
like he looked like a trucker, like a space trucker. But yeah, that's Guy Gardner. He's like, imagine someone like yelling at you at like a Bo Sox game. Imagine them with like a Green Lantern ring. That's basically Guy Gardner.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
So next one is Deathstroke the Terminator.
We've talked about Deathstroke before. And
Say it's funny.
actually,
The Terminator.
well, so he was originally called Deathstroke the Terminator. They dropped the Terminator bit because
The Terminator.
of the movies.
Yeah.
So Slade Wilson, if that sounds familiar, he came first. Wade Wilson, Deadpool, is like a bit of a parody pastiche of Slade Wilson, Deathstroke.
Oh my god, I didn't even think realized that.
How droll.
Yeah.
Nice.
But actually, Colin, you have seen at least one live action version of Deathstroke before.
Okay.
We saw Justice League.
See?
Do you remember the post credit scene?
What's no in Spanish?
I think it's like
No?
no.
I don't remember.
No.
So it's Lex
No,
has been
Superman,
broken out of
no, here.
Arkham. Lex is on his like private yacht.
Oh, yeah.
and this guy walks up with like
He
the
looks
armor
pretty
on,
Terminator-y.
and he takes his helmet off, and then Lex proposes that they start the Injustice League.
and then
that-
Lex proposes.
Yeah, Lex proposes.
That's romantic.
Yeah.
There's champagne, actually.
But that's Joe Manganiello cast as the DCEU's Slade Wilson. But basically, the story of Slade is that he is he's like a mercenary who undergoes this government experiment that
Kinda
gives
looks
him.
like Boba Fett.
He doesn't look anything like Boba Fett.
Pull it up.
It looks literally nothing like Boba Fett.
So here's Boba Fett.
Right.
Now,
Okay.
Look. Hold on. Before you switch it, make sure you look on his left shoulder.
Sorry, are we only left shoulder comparing?
Go down. Scroll down. Scroll down. Scroll down.
Find
Boom,
the
right
perfect
there.
image.
Boom. Boba Fett. Modern Boba Fett. And he's a
So
mercenary.
you go back.
Boba Fett.
Not even close.
It's totally there. Look at it.
Okay. And then
So I'm not sure precisely where Richard has edited this, but we've looked it up, and Deathstroke looks nothing like Boba Fett.
You're dead wrong.
So at any rate,
Hey, fans,
he's a mercenary.
Listeners, interns, whatever you guys are today, go on your own. Look up Boba Fett. Look up Deathstroke. And
And then
use
tweet
your
at us.
judgments.
Colin can't see.
hashtag Boba Stroke.
Oh.
Heyo.
It's when you masturbate while drinking a bubble tea.
Hashtag Deathfett.
Sure.
Dead Fett.
Ooh, Deathfett. I like that. At any rate,
they're
he's a
still
mercenary who undergoes this government experiment and basically gives him like enhanced strength and reflexes and healing and stamina, but it also increases his mental capacity. So in the original comics, they would phrase it as like, instead of we only use 10% of our brains, Deathstroke uses 90. So he was like a brilliant tactician, a brilliant sort of military mind. So he was originally a villain of the Teen Titans, but eventually became like a villain of just the Justice League in general. He's taken on the entire Justice League at the same time. He's a very, very dangerous man, but sometimes fights on the side of good. The one thing with Deathstroke is that he has a very strict sort of code, and it's all about his contract and how much he's being paid. So he'll work for anyone, good guy or bad guy, as long as he's being paid.
Kind of like Boba Fett.
Oh my god.
I don't know why you're so determined to make this comparison work. Like, other than
Oh, are you talking about a time where Colin's like a dog with a bone and won't give up?
other than the fact that it's like
Oh, Colin likes this joke.
just obstinate. Yeah. So Deathstroke has sometimes fought with heroes or fought on the side of good. He was a member of the Injustice League when they took on the Crime Syndicate, but he's also been a member of the Secret Society when they sided with like Darkseid, or during Infinite Crisis when they sided with Alexander Luthor Jr. from Earth 3. So there's been many versions that sort of switch his allegiances. He has children. One of them, Rose Wilson, the Ravager, becomes a Teen Titan, becomes a good guy. Grant Wilson and I'm gonna forget the other one. There's another son. Shit.
Black Hole.
You got to it first.
Jericho, but one of them gets killed, and Slade kind of can't handle that, and he basically has like a vengeance mission against the Teen Titans. And in one of his big original Teen Titans arcs, where he's coming after the team and he has a spy on the inside of the team, that's the story where Robin becomes Nightwing over the course of those sort of like 4 issues or however long it was. But yeah, that's Deathstroke. He's a very major player in DC Comics.
Gets all the ladies.
Got the cool like half mask because he's missing one eye, so he only can see out of one side anyway. And then he's got
he did Clooney eyes too hard. And
yeah,
one of them had a terrible accent.
Yeah, he's a master swordsman, marksman, everything. He's been part of the Suicide Squad. And yeah, he's everywhere.
Northwind.
He's everywhere to me. When I
Is that another Canadian song?
No, it's not. I don't think
Is that not
so.
Canadian? Okay.
It's you I see.
That's so 90s.
Is that not Canadian?
It probably is.
I don't know. I'm starting to feel like all my references are Canadian.
Canadian 90s pop, yeah. The next character we're going to do is Northwind.
This is a super...
Is this one of Kanye West's
I was
kid?
just going to say.
Oh, I got that reference.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
Totally.
Because his last name is Wind. Guys? Guys. Can we get the pigeon out of here? That pigeon cricket hybrid. Northwind. Northwind is a very, 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 very weird character. The bird sounds are actually appropriate because Northwind is sort of like part bird. He comes from this like lost city kingdom around the North Pole called like Feithera. Like it's not spelled that way, but it's like feathers.
feather.
Yeah. And basically he is like the godson of the Golden Age Hawkman and Hawkgirl, Carter and Shira Hall. And he is like a humanoid bird. He's covered in feathers. He has like actual like wings and things like that. But he basically like leaves behind his life in Feithera, like his arranged marriage and like whatever their other customs are. And he joins Infinity Inc., which was a team of like younger generations of superheroes. And he joins that team for a while. And so he's obviously got flight powers. He can also like commune with birds. He has like animal, like not telepathy, but like some sort of empathic connection to other birds. He also, for a bit, he could like project flames, but I don't think that was like a thing that everyone in Feithera could do. I think it was like a form of magic that he learned while like...
He's like a Mario brother by accident.
Yeah, he got the fox hat or whatever it is.
No, that's the one where you can fly with a tail.
Oh, is that? Oh, okay. It's been a while.
Like, you fucking idiot.
Oh, it's the flower. It's the fucking flower is the fire one.
Yeah,
That's right,
Jesus Christ.
Sorry.
Call yourself a nerd.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Northwind is a pretty obscure character. It's not a character that I have many issues like with appearances. But that's the sort of very broad strokes. It's also, Northwind is not, if you can imagine, like a character that a lot of people care about.
Really? With a name like that?
It's just kind of there. But slightly interesting, but it was another one of these weird tangential connections to the Hawks that in their sort of long and confusing history of whether or not the world is populated with like hawk deities and people and things like that. But yeah.
The next one I picked mostly out of nostalgia, but Blockbuster.
Oh, Blockbuster had the power of 7-day video rentals.
But if you weren't kind, and you didn't rewind. Ooh, buddy.
Yeah.
Ooh, buddy. That's most deaf about that.
Most deaf.
Yeah, Blockbuster.
Who's also in a movie called
Yeah,
Becoming
no,
One.
yeah.
Yeah, I
That
figured.
was the
Yeah.
reference.
Yeah.
This character,
Fucking amazing.
shockingly, has no connection to the world of film or video rentals whatsoever.
Shocking.
Jacques.
It's more just literally busting blocks. So Roland Desmond was a scientist who made his brother Mark commit crimes under the effect of this serum that turned him into this big, like, super strong, super dumb, like, rampaging monster called Blockbuster.
The buster of blocks, if you will.
Yeah. Like a less powerful DC Hulk, basically. Like, sort of stupid, very strong.
Blockbuster smash.
Well, and diminished intellect is like a feature of Blockbuster. So, but then after Mark Desmond was killed,
Bust off the old block.
Roland Desmond gave himself the serum and then also became Blockbuster. And then we've talked about before, there was a period of time where the demon Neron was trading with all sorts of characters, mostly villains. He would give them their like wish or their desire in exchange for their souls because he was trying to gain enough souls to take over like hell. And
Sounds like an episode of Supernatural.
Roland Desmond, it does actually. And I think that's come up the last time I mentioned Neron too.
I know what you're talking about.
Roland Desmond sells his soul in order to regain his intellect. So then that version of Blockbuster was intelligent and crazy strong. And that's the version of Blockbuster that, excuse me, that became like a major Nightwing villain. He moved to the city of Bloodhaven, took over the criminal enterprise there. And Nightwing became sort of his primary antagonist. They're kind of arch enemies in a way. Eventually, pre-Flashpoint, Blockbuster gets killed by Tarantula. And it's important to note that at this particular moment, a bunch of bad things had happened. Nightwing was like in a really dark place, and he knew that Tarantula was going after Blockbuster and didn't stop her. Which is, growing up under Batman and the no kill rule, like it's not movie Batman where he does the like, I don't have to save you. like comic Batman, that's not good enough. So that's a particularly like dark moment for Nightwing actually was the death of Blockbuster because he probably could have stopped it. But yeah, so he's super strong. He eventually does have like his intellect restored too. So he's like a criminal, like underworld leader, very, very dangerous, and has been a member of different sort of like shady organizations. Yeah.
The Dr. DC podcast will be back after this quick break. Hey there, residents. This episode of the Dr. DC podcast is brought to you thanks to our amazing sponsors, Great Lakes Grooming Co. You know how much we love this product. We talk about it every episode, but it's something that I can't live without now. It's a product that I use every single day. Their beard oil, the Your Love scent, is a staple in my sort of daily routine. It nourishes my beard, makes it really nice and soft, and smells really nice. And when I have a little bit left over in my hand, I put it in my hair, and it makes my hair really nice. And it's actually one of the only things that like will like tame my hair because it's pretty crazy. The beard balm is a really nice way to kind of finish it off, and it sort of pulls the whole beard together. So if you guys if you have a beard, it's honestly these two products are like no other product that I've ever used, and they work super, super well. The Noble Selves hairstyling cream is unparalleled to all of the other gels and waxes and pomades and things like that. It's got this sort of medium light hold for somebody like me who has really thick hair. I'm always hesitant when somebody says it's a medium hold or a light hold, because I'm always like, well, you're gonna need like basically cement to put my hair down. But this actually works really, really well without having so much product in my hair. It's really, really nice, and it's super soft without feeling like you have like this gunk inside your hair. It's awesome. Great Lakes grooming is meant to be easy and ready to use, rain or shine. And we've definitely tested it up here in the harsh climate of the Great White North. We can definitely go through a gambit of different weather throughout the year, and I've never had an issue with this product when it comes to that. But we're lucky because these products are also purposely designed and environmentally responsible, handmade in Canada. I know the people who make these products. It's the same people that we work with for these sponsorships, and they're really, really great people to give your money to be honest. And I know that they're very intently making sure that these products are safe and environmentally responsible. So trust me, you'll feel good about using it, and you'll feel good when you wear it because you'll look real great. But for you lucky listeners, we have a 10% off Great Lakes Grooming regular price products. All you got to do is go to thegreatlakesgrooming.com and use their promo code DRDC podcast. That's all one word, DRDC podcast, greatlakesgrooming.com. And just use that promo code, and you guys will get 10% off of something that's awesome, and you will definitely come back over and over again. It's not in our promo list that I was given, but they have these really great brushes that they sell too. They're unreal. There's a lot of process that goes into having a big beard. The bigger it gets, the more work it takes. And being able to have one company that you can go to and you can trust them, and everything works the way that it should. It's awesome. I can't say enough how much I love this product, this whole product line, to be honest. So yeah, remember that website again, www.greatlakesgrooming.com. And now back to the show.
The next one is Deadline, and I thought that was appropriate with Blockbuster.
Yeah. So Deadline is a product of the 90s. Very, I don't know that there have been Deadline appearances outside of the 90s. I'm sure there's been at least one, but he was sort of big for a little bit there. He was like an assassin or like a gun for hire. And then after the events of Invasion, when that metagene bomb went off and it triggered a bunch of people's metahuman like genetics, he gained like increased durability, like some of the standard powers, but he could also phase through solid objects. And so then he used that in his like assassinating. He also had like some pretty high tech stuff. Like he had these things called arrow discs that he could fly on. And then he'd crop up in sort of different places. I think he was an enemy of Starman for a little bit, but he also fought, like, I have an issue of the Peter David Aquaman, like Hook Hand Aquaman, where he fights Deadline. But that character, I don't think I've seen him in like 20 years. I don't know that Deadline has even been around.
Richard, have you seen Deadline?
Just on TV?
It's Dateline.
Oh. Well, then no.
Yeah. There's not too much to say about Deadline. He's an assassin, basically, that can phase through walls and has some superhuman strength and durability. But he's not that interesting a character. He doesn't have like a ton of backstory, and he didn't really go anywhere. Like he didn't become really important. He didn't like do anything of like a ton of consequence. He was just sort of there.
Yeah.
Yellow.
Sounds like my university career.
But he did have like this big. He had this big yellow costume. He almost looked a little like Judge Dredd.
Oh, okay.
Not like Boba Fett, but a little like Judge Dredd.
So like Bob Marley.
Boba Marley.
Boba Marley.
Boba Marley.
I just meant Dredd.
Boba Fett. I was making a joke.
Dreadlocks.
Right.
Yeah.
Nope.
Oh, we are not jamming tonight.
I don't think that's my fault.
Game it? You were not gaming?
The next one's going to be Goldface. I like this one because it makes me think of Goldmember from Austin Powers.
It doesn't make you think of Golden Face from The Office, where Michael makes his
Oh my
Michael
god,
Scarn
so
movie.
good. Oh.
He makes Threat Level Midnight, the Michael Scarn.
Level midnight. Gonna make you feel all right.
I actually haven't seen that.
Oh, really?
Oh, it's so good.
They sort of tease it like through the show, but then you eventually get to see Michael's finished, like Michael Scarn spy movie, and Jim plays Golden Face, who's the bad guy.
Which episode and which season?
Oh,
so I
fuck.
can just skip ahead.
That's got to be season 8 or 9
Something
or
like
something
that,
like
yeah.
that.
All right, I'll just look it up on the internet.
It's up there. Or no, Michael might have left by then. 6 or 7 then maybe, but it's pretty funny.
Threat level midnight.
At any rate, Goldface. Oh god, this is going to be a tough one. Goldface.
Gold?
My Billy Vashaki. He was a Green Lantern villain, I believe. And I think, if I'm remembering correctly, that the conceit was, this was in the days where Green Lantern's weakness was the color yellow.
Oh god, no.
Well, really. And
Pick a color, any color.
so
No,
the-
not that
No,
one.
not going, no.
So the thing with Goldface is that he could like directly fight the Green Lantern just by virtue of the colors they were wielding.
So dumb.
But I just want to make sure that I'm not forgetting anything here. If you can imagine, Goldface is also like Deadline. That's a character that like not a lot of people are asking for.
Really?
Yeah, they're like, hey, where'd Goldface go? Bring Goldface back.
There's not enough faces of gold.
Make Goldface the big bad. Yeah, he had a yellow body, so the Green Lantern couldn't like affect him. I think he eventually like retired and became maybe not like a good guy.
But a mayor in Florida somewhere?
He worked for like worked for like a normal organization. I can't remember what it was. Like it was some sort of like a workers' comp thing or like a union or
Really?
something. Like he just got like a job after he retired.
He's like a child actor.
Oh my god, that would be funny. Yeah, but he had some like strength and he was borderline invulnerable, but yeah, his whole body was gold, so the Green Lantern like couldn't hurt him with his constructs, basically. That was like, it was that era where like that was enough for the story. There wasn't a ton else going on. I think he later married a character who is currently on the Flash TV show, Amunet Black. On the Flash TV show, she's being played by Katie Sackhoff. And I think in the comics,
Right on.
Goldface and Amunet Black get together. But
Gone.
yeah.
The next and last one
Ooh.
will be Despero.
You made him so much more Hispanic than he is.
He's not his...
Desperito.
Okay, Despero?
Despero.
Whatever.
Desperito.
Despero originally...
Like burrito.
You
Despacito.
That song had already cleared like 1 billion views and I hadn't heard it once. And now...
Really?
Yeah, but my wife really enjoys it. So now I hear it in the car all the time.
Nice. I knew I liked her for a reason.
Classic.
Yeah.
I knew I liked her. Wait, I mean, him, her? I mean, who
I don't even
knows?
know who she is. I've never heard of her.
Her. It's my wife.
That's my...
My wife.
We've known each other for so long.
You and your wife or you and Richard?
Both.
Oh, weird.
Weird.
In fact, I've never seen them in the same room together. Richard's been Mrs. Doubtfiring me the whole time.
I don't know if that means that I'm really pretty or your wife's really ugly, but
Well, no, it would be the pretty one, wouldn't it?
let's hope so.
Jesus. Well, I'm not going to get in trouble for this. I immediately said pretty. So,
Oh, you shouldn't have.
listen, this is... I'll gladly
Okay, let's
call
get
you
back to
pretty.
the character Despero. Or Despero, whatever it
We
is.
finally
Let's
did
keep
it. We
going.
finally pushed hard enough that Colin is keeping us on.
Oh, yay. it's like episode 12 of the 12 issues of Darkness all over again.
Yeah, where he was just like, we're almost there, guys.
All right. Well, if you've enjoyed this episode, make sure to send your questions
So,
to...
Despero
all right,
originally.
thank
was a villain of the entire Justice League. In one of their early adventures as the Justice League, Despero was this alien with mind control powers that sort of makes them play this sort of twisted game. But over
Let's play a game.
But over the years
Different
of him showing up and fighting different versions of the Justice League, he almost always came into conflict with the Martian Manhunter because they both have telepathic powers. So they developed their own kind of rivalry. He didn't start as a Martian Manhunter villain, but he sort of became one of his arch enemies. And there are some pretty brutal Martian Manhunter versus Despero fights. Some of them are like telepathic in nature. Some of them are physical because Despero is basically like completely invulnerable, crazy strong, like to match the Manhunter, to match Superman. He has this psionic ability. Sometimes, in one instance, Martian Manhunter and Aquaman both try to use their various forms of telepathy on Despero. One time, Martian Manhunter basically like incapacitated him using this thing called the Mayavana, which is like a Martian can only do it once. It's basically the gift of a psionic reality so real that you don't know you're in it. Uh-oh. You're supposed to use it on a loved one or something like that to give them what they've always wanted, but he gave it to Despero to stop him.
Death.
So that Despero was like imagining just forever that he was destroying the Martian Manhunter, but then he escaped that somehow. In the New 52, as Despero was like basically ripping the Justice League's watchtower from orbit, Martian Manhunter like shows up out of nowhere, and you think it's going to be a fight, and they're sort of bad talking to each other, and Despero says something like, like all the times we fought, you think you could take me, and the Martian Manhunter says something like super scary, like, we haven't fought. Like, we're about to, we haven't before.
Whoa.
And he like completely like fucks him up. So they have
in his head or in the fight?
In his head, like he like fries his brain.
That's some serious shit talk.
Yeah. Despero is like a really terrifying bad guy because he has both the mental psychic and the physical brute sides
Martian
of
Manhunter has the like psychic abilities of a mom. Of like just being able to mindfuck the hell out of you.
Do moms have psychic abilities?
Oh, totally.
It's true.
It's true.
Yikes.
Yeah. Didn't you have a mom?
Yeah, I didn't think she was psychic.
Oh. Well, then she got you good.
Apparently.
You haven't fought yet.
Oh no. Or I'm in a psychic reality right now. That's why we're getting listeners. I knew it wasn't real. The top just kept spinning.
Nice. That's a nice reference.
But yeah, so Despero is a major Justice League villain. He's a major Martian Manhunter villain. Yeah. And he's sort of just like maniacal. He's just out to destroy and to conquer. That's pretty much his game. Yeah.
Destroy and conquer.
And he's specifically after John Johns now because they have such a history
Jeff Johns?
Yeah. Yeah. Synonymous. Yeah, there you go. Was that all of them?
That was it.
Oh, wait. What's this? Oh, I got a question.
Is it from Julius Peppercorn?
You know what it is? It's funny that you might ask that.
Julius Peppercorn asks, when does this end?
I think I maybe had a psychic power there.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Julius Peppercorn asks, of these cards that we've looked at, who would you cosplay as and why?
Oh, I like that.
Right?
Oh, that's interesting. So like from just today's sets of cards? Okay.
So to go through them, we have Animal Man,
Right.
Black Lightning,
Right. Well, can't do
Don't
that
say
one.
that.
The Guardian. No, that's not the one.
Nope.
Guy Gardner.
Yep.
Well, I can't do that because I mean, A, I don't have hair, but B, I'd never cut it like that.
Deathstroke the Terminator.
Right.
And it doesn't matter how much hair you do have in real life or not. You could just have it.
I would love to do Deathstroke.
Northwind. Oh, I missed one. Rocket Red.
Oh, Rocket Red? Okay. I'll just very briefly talk about Rocket Red then. His name is Gavril Ivanovich. He's a Soviet, And
Oh,
the Soviets
very
had this thing called the Rocket Red Brigade, which are basically just these like big clunky robot suits that had like jetpacks and missiles and guns. And that was like a Soviet sort of hero team. But as the Soviet Union was falling and Gavril saw that, like, he called it like the westernization of the Soviet Union. He was like, no, fuck this noise. I be the only true Rocket Red. And he like stole or made his own suit and became his own independent like Soviet hero.
Really?
He became Kazakhstan.
Captain Kazakhstan.
2Ks.
My suit.
It's nice.
But Rocket Red eventually joined
It was
like
lime green in color.
Yeah.
Talk about a rocket.
oh jeez. He eventually joined the Justice League International, and he's made like cameo appearances in the Justice League cartoon.
Yeah.
Rocket Red's been in there. Yeah. So that's Gavril Ivanovich.
Nice.
And then we have Blockbuster, Deadline, Goldface.
Goldface would just be funny because it would be like, "Who are you?"
Yeah.
I'd be like, "I'm Goldface." So Green Lantern is weak against Yellow.
and Despero.
So who would you choose?
I mean, probably Deathstroke. I can cover up some of the deficiencies in my physique with the armor.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's just a cool look. I don't think I'd want to do anything too weird because that, like I just said, you have to spend your whole time explaining what you are. Animal Man would be fun, but I don't think I've got the right kind of look for it. But and I don't want to shave my beard for that.
Though.
That's true.
Rocket Red, though, take that helmet off, just a bald guy with a beard. I could look Soviet.
It's true.
Yeah.
I think I would like to be Northwind. Just
so you can glue a bunch of feathers to yourself.
No, just for the pure fact that I can walk around parties and fart and then be like, hey, do you guys smell that?
Must be the north.
Must have come from the north wind.
It's funny that you say come from the north. I forgot. That's one of Northwind's powers is he like a bird. He knows where north is.
So do I. Look at the sky. Figure it out.
Yeah, super useful.
Oh, Colin.
I no.
Nope, you got to choose one.
I don't do cosplay.
You literally have to just play the stupid fucking game.
We're not making you do it. It's a fucking hypothetical.
Animal Man. All right, why?
Just because you guys hang out with animals.
It's a cause. It's Jesus.
I'm really used to hanging out with animals. I spend a lot of time in this room with you two.
That's pot kettle.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Talking about Black Lightning?
Oh. Because
Yeah,
calls the kettle
yeah.
black. Yeah, no. I meant the
Racist
Colin's
pot.
an animal.
I don't know. It was either that or Guy Gardner. I think Guy Gardner has some pretty swanky.
I think you are my Guy Gardner.
Oh, go for it.
Oh, and you're his Morrison.
I'm your creator. Now we're meeting.
Oh my god. Anyways,
And I'll destroy you.
I know we didn't have any questions this issue. Besides the one from Julius Peppercorn, which came through a text, so
Thank
it
you,
doesn't really
Julius.
count. But
we don't give out our personal contact often, but Richard actually is willing to give his number out for questions.
That's
from
funny.
listeners.
You know what? I've actually been trying to find a way that we can get phone calls, but the problem is like the podcasts that do use it do it through Google Voice, and Google Voice isn't available through Canada right now.
Huh.
And
So it's a
we've been
bummer.
exposed.
Yeah. What we're in Canada.
I think
Big
everyone
surprise.
We're in Canada.
I bet you people have been like listening, and as soon as we say this episode's a boat,
Yeah.
they go like, "Oh, okay."
Like, wait, it's not a podcast. It's a
I'm
boat?
pretty sure some of the I'm pretty sure some of the American podcast people have already been like making fun of us because of our terrible accents from.
What? What do you mean our terrible accents?
We do
It's just how we
incredible
talk.
No. When we try to do like American accents.
Oh, you mean like you're Dr. Savannah? Dr. Savannah, Georgia?
Adzuna no no.
What was that?
Nope.
Zibbity zop over here.
Why is your Dr. Savannah, Georgia sound suddenly like Armenian?
That's not what an Armenian sounds like.
I wouldn't know. Your Armenian sounds like a Ukrainian.
They're not very far.
They're pretty far.
It's near Turkey. Turkey's near the West world.
Such generalization. Amazing. Absolutely
But
amazing.
if you want to send us questions for our future issues, which will have things that you can ask questions about,
Hit us up on Facebook at,
Dr. DC Podcast.
on Twitter
At Dr. DC.
on Instagram at.
Dr. DC Podcast.
See how I'm going to let people ask questions on there now?
Wow.
I know, I'm impressed.
Oh.
Really softening.
Yeah.
You can go to our website.
I'm getting old.
drdcpodcast.com or .ca.
Oh, fancy. You can also go to iTunes or any of those other fancy places where you can download podcasts and hopefully rate, review, and subscribe to us, because all those things definitely help us out. And share us. Why don't you share us? Do us a favor and share us.
Yeah. Print us out. Bring us over to the neighbor's house.
Yes.
Send a fax to your aunt.
Type out what we said in an episode and print it out and bring it to a neighbor's.
Because that'll
manually
well.
set type in an old-timey printing press and run the daily edition and then send it like...
Are you a school teacher?
Yeah.
Why don't you read it to your class?
Extra. Read all about it. New podcast. Out of location.
Racist undertones. Can you hear them?
Only if they listen to earlier episodes. This episode was pretty good.
Wow.
No racism.
There's still time.
So proud of us.
But yes, so make sure you do all that and give us the attention we do not deserve.
All right. Well, some kind of sign off.
Adios.
Do you smell that? It's coming from the Northwind.
All the superheroes, they always fight for what is right. Live with danger and adventure.